श्री श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः परम गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम. Good day. Today I am going to talk about a very interesting personality and a character from Mahabharata. It is about the sage Kacha or a brahmachari Kacha. In the days of yore, as you know, there is always a fight between the good and the evil. Here we are talking about a battles between Daityas on one hand and Devatas on other hand, meaning Rakshasas or demons on one hand and gods on other hand. In one such battle, it is said that there was a very fierce fighting between the Daityas and Devatas, and both the sides lost heavily in terms of men. In terms of men, in the sense Devatas and Daityas. But it so happened that the guru of Daityas, that is Shukracharya, had a powerful mantra which is called Mrithya Sanjeevini, meaning literally reviving from the dead. A dead body being revived to life. So using that mantra, the Daityas were able to revive lot of Daityas who had fallen. The guru of Devatas, Brihaspati, he did not know about such mantras. So when both the sides were losing and the Daityas were reviving back from the dead, the Devas had nothing to do but retreat from the battlefield. And they went straight to their king, that is the king of gods, Indra. And they said, see, this is the fate which gods are facing. While Daityas are able to get revived, we do not have that mantra to get ourselves revived or our dead bodies to get revived. Indra said, yes, it is a known fact that we do not have that mantra amongst our Devatas clan. And it is a good thing that you retreated back from the battlefield. And he calls a council, and finally they decide to send Kacha, that is a young handsome sage and son of Brihaspati, to the ashrama of Shukracharya, that is the opposite camp, to learn about that vidya, to learn about that mantra, that is Mrithya Sanjeevini. As per that, Kacha, who was in the prime of his youth, goes to the ashram of Shukracharya and says, "O Guru, I have come to learn rituals from you. I have come to learn Vedas and Shastras from you. Kindly teach me." Shukracharya, even though he knows that he belongs to the enemy camp, he still accepts him, because the principles on which they were living were so high. If a person even from an enemy camp comes and asks for knowledge, that knowledge transfer they were willing to give. And as such, Kacha enters the ashrama of Shukracharya, and while entering he says, "O Guruji, I will serve you most diligently for 1000 years of my life." Here we have to understand this 1000 years or 1000 in terms of distance or age, they are quite different from what we in this Kali Yuga know. It is said in Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, men and women had a much longer lifespan than what we have. That is due to their pranayama, or the way they practice their austerities, or the way they had their food. We do not know. We have lost that knowledge. But it is sufficient to say at this point of time that Kacha said, 1000 years I will serve you, O Guruji. And accordingly, he entered into the ashram, and he was looking after the daily ashram activities and things like that. And days were passing, years were passing, and the first 500 years of his life passed off uneventfully. But Shukracharya was a very crafty sage. He knew that Kacha had come to learn about that Mrithya Sanjeevini. and he mentally took a oath to himself, made a oath to himself, saying that I will never ever teach this guy or this disciple, that Mrithya Sanjeevini. Be it as it may, in the ashram, in the family of Shukracharya, he had a beautiful young daughter by name Devayani. And the father-daughter relationship was so close, so intense that Shukracharya was ready to do anything and everything for the satisfaction and for the happiness of his daughter, which as we see today also. Today's fathers are also doting on their daughters. Whether daughters will dote on their fathers is a different thing. We will not go into that area. Here, Shukracharya was so much attached to his daughter, that is Devayani, and Devayani, as beautiful as she was, but she was so arrogant and very proud of her beauty and her circumstances of life. However, when she was interacting in the day-to-day life with this ascetic Kacha, she had a soft corner for him. So it so happened that while Kacha was doing the daily activities of the ashram, she joined and helped him and became quite intimate to him. And as the story goes, once Kacha goes to the forest, as was his usual duty, like to graze the cattle or to collect the woods or to collect the honey or something, some activity which is relevant to the ashramic way of life, he once had gone to the forest. It so happened the Daityas who were there in abundance, they were observing this Kacha very intently. The reason being, he is a guy from the enemy camp. And they also knew this guy had come to learn the Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra from Shukracharya. That is one trouble or one idea which was racking their brains as to why an enemy should be taught this vidya or taught this knowledge. The second thing which they were unduly worried was that Kacha and Devayani, as they observed, they were becoming quite close, and this they unsettled their minds. So they wanted to not only break this relationship, but also ensure that Kacha will not get the Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra from their guru. So when he had come to the forest and when he was alone, they attacked him and beat him to death. Who? Kacha. Kacha was dead and they made his body to pieces. We are hearing that now in today's news also, bodies being cut to pieces. Anyway, it was cut to pieces and those chunks of Kacha's body were thrown to the wolves as their food. And they went away, saying that their task is done. And evening came, dusk came, and there was a nightfall. At that time, Devayani, who was daily eagerly looking for Kacha, that Kacha did not come. So she asked her father, Shukracharya, oh father, Kacha is not to be seen. You call him. And the sage, through his yogic powers, he understands what has happened, the incident that has happened in the forest. And through his mantra shakti, he calls Kacha back. Oh Kacha, where are you? He understands that he has been eaten by the wolves and his body parts have been eaten. And he uses that mantra and he calls him back to life. And Kacha comes back and he narrates the incident, which of course Shukracharya is already aware through his yogic powers. Not only that, he thanks Shukracharya. Oh Guruji, I am thankful to you. You have revived me back from the dead. And accordingly, few more days pass. And once again, when he is in the forest, the same set of Daityas who beat him to death and cut him to pieces, they see him again. And they say, see, our Guru Shukracharya has revived Kacha from the dead. This time we will beat him to death and we will throw the pieces not to the woods but into the ocean. Let it go to the ocean. And accordingly they did that. And again the same thing happened. Devyani asked her father, and again Shukracharya through his powers will bring him back to life. And when the third time when this Daityas see this Kacha in the forest again collecting woods, they put their heads together and they think, this guy is not going to die easily. Even if he dies, Shukracharya, our guru, is reviving him back to life. So we will use a better idea. And accordingly, they beat him to death again for the third time, and they burned the body to ashes. The entire body became a heap of ashes. And they used that ashes for mixing it into an alcohol or a country-made liquor. And they gave it to their guru. Oh Guru, this is the wine which we have brought for you to drink. Please drink. And Shukracharya, without any concern, he takes that pot of liquor and he drinks. Again, nightfall comes. No Kacha. Devyani asks her father, oh father, where is Kacha? This time, the Shukracharya, he calls, oh Kacha, where are you? To understand, before invoking that Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra, he asks, oh Kacha, where are you? As he used to ask on the earlier 2 times. Then a sound comes from his stomach. Oh Guruji, I am in your stomach. Shukracharya is aghast and he is in a dilemma. And he calls Devyani and he says, see, the Daityas, my own disciples, have played a trick upon me. They have burnt his body to ashes, and that those ashes, Kacha's ashes, are in my belly. And if I call Kacha back to life through Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra, then he will burst my belly and I will die. So now tell me, dear daughter Devyani, whether you want me or you want Kacha. You decide. Devyani, as I said earlier, as beautiful as she was very headstrong and arrogant in her behavior. She said, oh father, the only thing at this point of time I want is both of you should live. Whatever you want to do, you do. You are very learned Brahmana, you are very learned sage, you know all the Shastras. I want both of you in my life. I am not willing to forego you nor Kacha. The sage ponders about this bigger dilemma and he says what to do, but he loves his daughter so much that he can't say no to her. At the same time, one of them have to die. So he devises a plan. He tells to the Kacha who is in his stomach in the form of ashes, oh Kacha, when you are there in the stomach, I will teach you the Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra. And then I will invoke it, calling you back to life. You will come out bursting my stomach and you will come out alive and I will die. And when you come out alive, you use that same mantra on me and I will also live. So that both of us are alive and Devyani is pleased. Kacha says it is fine. He has been waiting for 500 years to know this mantra. And for 500 years, Shukracharya did not want to teach this mantra. But now the inevitable happened. He taught that mantra and both of them are alive. And Devyani is pleased. So, in spite of knowing or understanding or learning that Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra, Kacha will not go back to his father's ashram. As promised, he will go on serving the father and the daughter diligently for the next 500 years. Thereby completing his promised 1000 years of the life in the ashram. So when the time comes for him to leave the ashram, the 1000 years time line is completed and he wants to go back to the ashram of his father, and he takes leave of the ashram inmates and seeks the blessings of Shukracharya, and he tells goodbye to Devyani. Here Devyani puts a spanner. She says, oh Kacha, I am living with you for 1000 years. I like you, I love you, and so please marry me. Kacha is surprised. And he's taken aback and he says, no Devyani, I never looked at you in that way. I had no intention. We were friendly and we were doing the daily activities of the ashram together just to be friendly. I have no intention and I have never looked at you in that sense of you being a wife or a lover for me or a beloved for me. No, I can't do this. When Devyani insists, Kacha gives one more reason to convince her, saying that, oh Devyani, I am twice born. In the sense, once I came out of the womb of my mother and I died when I was a youth. And when I was dead, again I was reborn from the stomach of your father. Thereby making us brother and sister. How can I marry you? No, it is not possible. Devyani says, what sort of illogical reasoning you are giving? Your father is Brihaspati, my father is Shukracharya. What sort of reason you are giving? That is through Mantra Shakti you came out as twice born. Originally you were born to your mother only and your father is Brihaspati only. Kacha says, no, I am not going to marry you. So Devyani will become very wild with rage, anger, and she says, I am putting a curse on you, and that curse is whatever Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra which you learned in this ashram from my father, you will not be able to use it to revive the dead. Go, this curse will be there for you. Kacha says, see, 1000 years I spent in the ashram, in your father's ashram, and now you are putting in this curse. Yes, you have to marry me, then that curse will be okay. She says, no, I won't marry. Even though I won't marry you, even though you have put the curse on me, since you are putting the curse in great rage and anger, it may or may not have effect on me. If I am not able to revive the dead because of your curse, I will teach one of my disciples or one of my peers, one of the devatas, and they will be able to revive the dead. They will be able to use the Mrithya Sanjeevini. Thereby, your curse is not going to materially affect us at all, us devatas at all. On the contrary, I will put a curse because of your rage and anger, that with an attitude such as yours, no Brahmin will marry you. Go, this is my curse. And accordingly, he goes away. So here, now Devyani is still in the ashram of Shukracharya. How the curse of Kacha impacts the prospects of marriage prospects of Devyani, we will cover in the next episode, which will be titled as Devayani and King Yayati. So this is the story of Kacha, who went to learn Mrithya Sanjeevini mantra from the enemy camp, came out successfully, and he passed on this message to the devatas. Have a good day. Bye.